India today is recognized as a cradle of culture throughout the world. One of the key reasons for this recognition is the effort of the ancient South Indian empires who took Indic culture to foreign shores for the first time, nearly 1,000 years ago. The greatest of these was the Rajendra I, known by many names. Rajendra the Great was responsible for spreading the Chola Empire across Southeast Asia. The Chola Empire today is recognized as one of the earliest naval superpowers of the human civilization. Now, emerging as a great power under Emperor Rajaraja I, the Cholas counted on the Khmer Empire of Southeast Asia as key allies, and under Rajendra Chola, their influence and trade routes spread from China in the east to the Middle East and even further to the northern African regions in the west. Rajendra the Great was known as a devout worshipper of Shiva and built great temples to appease the Hindu god of destruction upon his successful conquests of other empires, of which there were many. Rajendra remains as one of the few emperors to go undefeated in battle, annexing the regions of Anuradhapura, Sri Lanka, Kaling, Myanmar, Rivijaya and Kedah over the course of his lifetime. He took on the title of Gagai Kondan after becoming the first South Asian ruler to cross the Ganga, which he achieved 1,000 years ago through this year according to records. To celebrate his victory in the Ganges, Rajendra constructed a new capital in Gangai Kond, Acholapuram, and built Gangai Kond Chola temple. These temples today stand as testament to the magnificent talent of the Chola Empire and engineering of ancient India. The temple town is today recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be joining this celebration of Rajendra Chola, which has been celebrated annually every year as the Aadi Thiruvathirai festival. The Prime Minister is expected to release a coin commemorating Rajendra the Great on the occasion, and the Prime Minister will also be dedicating to the nation development projects worth 48 crore rupees in Tuticorin in Tamil Nadu, as well as the new terminal of the Tuticorin airport. In a big boost to connectivity in Tamil Nadu, the Prime Minister will also dedicate multiple rail and road projects worth 3,600 crore. Finally, he will also lay the foundation stone for the interstate transmission system for the Kudankulam nuclear plant, and we all are going to be tracking these developments for you. Let's start off this conversation about the legacy of the Tamil Emperor Rajendra Chola and the cultural, the territorial, the maritime legacy that he left behind thousands of years ago. I am being joined by Hindol Sengupta. He is a historian. Hindol, let's try to understand, and more particularly about how this has been a battle that seems to have forged between the BJP and the DMK, where the DMK at this point of time trying to celebrate, commemorate, venerate this great emperor, taking pride in Tamil Nadu and all it has to offer with regards to the conquest that this great king had, and what was spread across Southeast Asia. Even maritime trade that moved forward up until Rome and Greece and Italy as well, and that was the contribution of the Chola Empire. It is at this point of time being looked by the DMK as a Dravidian legacy, Dravidian pride, versus how the BJP and Prime Minister Modi are reflecting it, building a narrative of nationalism, of integration of the country, and the glory and prestige of India that was present as a superpower before the Islamic forces took over and conquered India. How do you view the current two narratives that are playing together in the state of Tamil Nadu?
There are no two narratives. There cannot be two narratives about the Cholas, and to try and suggest that there are two narratives is fundamentally reeks of lack of education. The Cholas are as much part of any other part of Indian history and as much part of any other Indian or India part of India as, for instance, Tagore is for the Tamils, or Sardar Patel is for, for the Malayalis and so on and so forth. These are all part of our national legacy. Now, the Cholas are particularly important for two or three reasons. Number one, please remember the Cholas are one of the longest dynasties, ruling dynasties in the world ever. One of the longest. That's number one. Number two, the Cholas, who were basically Shiva worshippers, they were Shivites. They built some of the most fantastic temples, architectural marvels, including the great Brihadeshwara and others in the world. That's another great legacy. But it's not only stuck in history. Please remember, the legacy of the Cholas is alive in our politics and indeed in our international relations even today, because all our claims today on the Indian Ocean are based on Chola history. If you look at, Rajendra I, the Chola emperor that you were talking about, well, it is he who really, and his naval prowess, that showed us again and again that this entire idea of placing naval sites on different islands that were conquered, this began with Rajendra Chola. Then we talk so much about the Malacca Strait and the battle between India and China in the Malacca Strait. Well, who first took the Malacca Strait for India? It was the Cholas. It is in the history of the Cholas, one of their emperors sent the first embassy from India to the Chinese court. So the Cholas are embedded constantly. In fact, even today, when China and India collide on the Indian Ocean, please remember, India presents this Chola history, and the Chinese present their own history with an explorer called Zhang He, and a great naval warrior who did 7 expeditions, they say, in the Indian Ocean. So Chola history is very, very important. Please remember, in 2014, when Prime Minister Modi came to power, that year, the RSS celebrated the 1,000th year of the coronation of Rajendra I. So this history has been long with us, and the Cholas are in Indian statecraft, in Indian international relations, in Indian politics. They are one of the most foundational pillars. It is very sad that most Indians know very little about them, but they were truly a terrific, amazing, in a sense, far ahead of their times. Everything they did was far ahead of their times, in a sense, legacy that they've left with us. The other thing that to remember about the Cholas is, it is also often said that, well, I saw somebody say the other day that the Cholas also had many conquests. Yes, they did, but this was nothing compared to the kind of invasions that India saw. So we really cannot. I mean, the Chola spread culture. It is, we talk about the Ramayana going to many parts of Southeast Asia, and it's a living legacy even today. The living bridge of the Ramayana in various parts of Southeast Asia, connecting it to India, connecting those parts to India. That too is a legacy of the Cholas. So they were truly an incredible dynasty.